Aster is absolutely exploding right now and is showing like it could be one of the biggest coins during this bull run. I've had a lot of people talking to me on Twitter asking what a potential price target for Aster could be. And I'm actually going to show you in today's video, if you were to invest $100 into Aster and it was to hit some of these price projections, how much profit could you actually make? So let's not waste any more time and jump straight into it. Smash the like and subscribe. Here, let's do just a little quick overview on Aster. You can see the current price, 1.98. Just a second ago, it was actually 1.85. And even earlier on today, it actually hit a low of 1.7. So we're definitely getting a lot of movement on Aster. Current market cap, $3.2 billion. So right now, let's begin this calculation of $100 invested into Aster. So if we were to invest $100, at the time that I created this, it was 1.94. It's really quickly moving, so 1.98. That's about 2% higher. So it's basically the same price, only 2% difference. So we use 1.94 for this calculation. Total coins we would actually get of Aster. So if we invested this $100, we get a total of 51 tokens. So 51.5, let's call it 51 exactly. So now a lot of people are actually calling for the price of Aster to hit $100 per coin. And we can see short-term targets, mid-term, late term. We're seeing a lot of tweets and a lot of hype actually giving some quite high projections to Aster for around that $100. So if Aster was to reach $100 in price, just with your initial $100 invested, that would actually be worth more than $5,000. Even just with $100 invested, decent price projection, but it would really give an opportunity to build that crypto portfolio with $5,000. Then imagine if Aster was to reach $500. Now, obviously, reaching a price target of $100, that's actually over a 50x in price from here. So reaching $500, that's quite a high price projection. But if Aster was to become one of the largest decentralized exchanges where nearly every single person is trading on, well, we could see here that $100 would actually be worth over $25,500 in profit. So obviously that last price projection is quite high, but again, if it was to become and take over as one of the decentralized exchanges, imagine. One thing I do want to cover, and is a very important piece of information that we do need to understand, is the total circulating supply versus the maximum supply of Aster. So we've only got 1.65 billion tokens currently of Aster in circulation. So we can see here when we hover over here, 20.72% of the total amount of tokens for Aster is currently in circulation. Most important number here, this fully diluted valuation, because we can see the current market cap, 3.29 billion. But that doesn't really mean anything, because once all the tokens have been unlocked or are in circulating supply, that last remaining 80%, which is quite substantial, then the overall market cap of Aster would be nearly 16 billion, which is quite large. So one thing that we do want to really even understand is, so if we were to get this price projection from basically $2 to $100, that is around a 50x. So if we were going to get a 50x, we can basically say we're going to get a 50x in this fully diluted valuation. So 15.88 billion market cap times that by 50x. We're also saying that the total market cap of Aster, if it was to reach $100 per coin, could reach 800 billion, which is quite large. And when we come over the coin market cap and compare that to all of the top cryptos, that's basically saying Ethereum here is the second highest crypto, 480 billion market cap. We're basically saying that Aster would overtake Ethereum as the #1 coin. So Does seem a little bit far-fetched, but again, there's a lot of potential for a massive decentralized exchange to really take over, especially when we've seen other cryptos really with a core use case of trading, exchange. So one last thing I also wanted to point out was, imagine instead of using $100 initially invested, imagine we did $500 initially invested into Aster, again at that same price target, $1.94. That would mean a total coin amount of 257. And if price target for Aster was actually to reach just 50, so not as high as 100, as I spoke about, really putting a crazy fully diluted valuation on Aster. But if it was to reach $50, so half of that, overall, our total sale value profitable would be over 12,000. So really some crazy numbers with just a small amount invested with Aster. Obviously, this isn't financial advice. This is only really just going over some potential price calculations for Aster. One thing I do want to point out is on my Twitter, I actually called Aster. It was around $1.40. So let me scroll down to that tweet. Here we go. It was actually coming strongly into support. It was actually around that $1.40 where I was speaking and actually entered into a trade for Aster. So here, this was the price region. I actually entered into a trade, $1.40. We made that really strong push up. Once we did break the overall EMA, that was the time to exit and move on with the trade. But now again, another trade has really shown itself, because overall we're going to see these strong movements up and then retests of these old resistive structures quite continuously. Right through here was a very, very resistive structure. Once we finally got the breakout right here, we're basically just retesting this structure. Even here, we can confirm, use a Fibonacci retracement. I just like to use and see where's the 50% to 61.8%. We can see that perfectly coming into this golden zone that I'm always loving with the Fibonacci retracement, and now having a strong projection to the upside where it looks like we're making those continuous higher highs and now higher lows. So now again, basically the exact same type of structure that's happening here. So my favorite especially now is to move down onto some shorter term time frames and to actually see exactly how this EMA is reacting. Now even here, what we could definitely expect if price was to come down, there's definitely a high resist supportive structure. It's actually made a flip. And now we really wouldn't want to see anything below this low. That would really be where any stops are placed. And now we'd want to break above these short-term highs right through here. And so as we make this higher high, high low structure, that would really confirm. And then we can move to some longer term time frames like the 4 hour and basically do the exact same thing, but using the exponential moving average on a high term time frame. Because as I spoke about, if we're expecting like prices like $50, we're definitely not going to be looking for 5-minute time frame trades. We're going to be zooming out a little bit because it's going to take, not just a few hours to reach those price targets. So zooming out definitely helps and actually allows me to zoom out and see the overall trend, especially when I'm using the EMA. So there we have it for Aster. If you were to invest $100, even $500, and it was to reach some of these crazy price targets. If you have enjoyed the video, smash the like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.